Lorraine, can you hear me?
Yes.
I think I had an issue with my... Sorry. So
Yeah,
we continue. Where were we? What was the last thing I was saying?
You are discussing the objectives, the effectiveness.
Yeah, so actually bottom line anyway, I think I was through with the objectives, but my point being, if you follow that roadmap that I've shown you, have one where you can model. You can say that one dependent variable will be it profits, be it revenue, be it something like that, is dependent on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay?
Yeah.
Alafu ingine mucharacterize tu museme tu SMEs. This is the picture of the SME station in Jokerio. The mean SME owner is maybe this much, maybe 12 years old. Maybe the length of business, they have been doing business for this length of time. Vitu kama hizo. We can actually concentrate more when we shall be developing the questionnaire or the instrument at the end of the day. But you can just have them in those two. Right? My insistence being what you have right now, very good proposals, but even at a higher level, I dare say even at the PhD level, absent of people having data. Na ujue ya kuwa, kama ni poverty eradication, I know where to get, which office to go. Kama ni hii nyingine, I know which office to go to. I can assure you, these are not very, very easy things to say, either mnaweza kufanya ama hamwezi kufanya. At the end of the day, when you talk about imports, when you talk about technological advancement, I ask you myself, what variable shall you use to as a proxy for it or as an indicator for technological advancement? Now, the technological advancement, of course, lazima mukue na before and after. Maybe mtasema 2021 ilikuwa hivi, 2022 iko hivi, and then maybe you can see the difference and you can see the possible growth in the same. So when I say, when maybe they fail that test of smartness, that's basically what I mean, that with the resources that we have and the time that we have, these are simply not objectives that can be met satisfactorily right now. So Lorraine, any comment?
There is this point.
Yes.
The last sentence of statement of the problem. You wrote needs work. We don't understand. Okay, I don't understand. Yeah.
First of all, and I think I shared this with also Mohammed, the group, I forget it was yesterday or the day before. Start now writing your work in a way that now conforms to what the final work should look like. And I even gave them an example of what I expect. I don't know whether I have it here. Yes, I have it here. So let me just open it and share it with you very, very quickly. Next time, I expect when you'll be giving me your work should start looking like this. This was one of your students who, I think the groups that I supervised, I believe last year. So I want it to start even having the title page, iandikwe vizuri hivi, or even better than this. Vitu kama declaration of an approval page. So hizo tunaweza acha ma copyright acknowledgement, even abstract. Okay, even hata kama mtakuwa nayo, lakini hizo pages zikuwe. Table of contents na ni ile ambayo imekuwa generated digitally, such that nikitaka kuenda mahali, if I want to go to background of the study, I can just get there without any problem. So I'd wish you to start actually giving your document in that sense. Now you see, because you people, you are not doing citation, it simply means that you are being honest enough that even referencing is not expected to be in your document. And yet referencing is a very important thing. I cannot emphasize the importance of referencing at the end of the day. So next time, let me not just get a pedestrian document like this. Let me just start now saying some, at least those technicalities, those technical things, tuanze kuzidevelop mapema. Hizi si vitu ambazo mtu huwa anaacha mpaka baadaye kabisa. No, you start now actually engaging in them from the word go. Na references ni kitu ambayo hata nowadays you have it very easy. Mnaenda tu hapa tu kwa, is it referencing ama review? Yeah. Hapa kwa references hapa juu kwa word, and if you go to, I believe insert bibliography, mkiwa hapa, you will get, because if I type bibliography and if you references, you can now see what is starting to tell me. Inaniletea all this nini, and because for Egerton we do APA edition 7, you might want to do your research on what this animal called APA edition 7 is, na muhakikisha kuwa mumeitumia kikamilifu in your work. Okay, so not Chicago, but hata ukienda hapa APA ubaya sasa mainini 6th edition hainisaidii. Like hata nikitumia hiyo, I still need to go and do something on it. So let me start seeing that in your work, and it's not a request. I think next time, the basis of me even looking at your work is now that it will basically be starting to now get this form. And why am I saying this? Nikiangalia your work, and I feel very bad that we have talked about even line spacing, right? Line spacing being 1.5. Naona kidogo bado tunadorora in that sector, that we are insisting that tunaiandika tu vile tu tunataka, bora sisi tuondoke, mwalimu atuambie kama hiyo ndio kitu anataka ama ataki. So when we see this, I'm like, what's the value of us having that initial presentation? Kwa sababu hii line spacing hii hapa, hii kama ni mingi ni 1. Hii kama ni mingi ni 1.0, and yet what we need is a line spacing throughout your work of 1.5. Na mtaona mkianza kuifanya, it is something that now will become second nature. By the time sasa tutakuwa tunaingia into serious things, these technicalities tutakuwa tumezishinda tayari, and it will just be a question of just now arguing about other higher things, arguably, than doing it the way we talked about. I don't know whether you've worked with the abstract so far, but you remember the way I gave you how to write an abstract in the presentation. Na hiyo presentation bado piko tu kwa YouTube. Mkiitaka, na nadhani ni nyinyi hata hiyo ni yenu iko hapo. You can actually go and see how I said an abstract should be made. Hii nikiandika need work isiwasumbue sana. Because there are bigger battles to fight. Objectives are the heart of any research. Unaona? And it is out of us agreeing about what our objectives are that will inform each and every other part of your research. I think when I was writing about needs work it wasn't coming out clearly. I think I was talking about this, not even the last sentence, Lorraine, but your objectives in totality, right? Kuna statements ambazo mmefanya hapo ambao nikiangalia hata kwa background information maybe might not be there. Unajua, and so as if I'm given, I think I should even have sent you the link when I was having kina Mohammed, because I gave them an example. Zile vitu ambazo mnapenda, and you guys, it's good that all of you are ladies and you love these jewelry things. Kama ni shanga, kama kitu kama hiyo, there's always that string that way inapita katikati. Either iwe wire, either iwe ka string katikati. That is how you must view your research. Hakuna kitu ati the one of these beads or pearls zitakuwa hapa nje alafu useme it's part of your jewelry. No. kuna kitu ambayo inapita hapo katikati. And what we mean by that is right from the title until the last word of your work, kuna hiyo kitu ambayo there is that string that ties them together. Now, after we have done and we have agreed on the objectives, is now when we can work on these other sections like statement of problem and all that. Nitawaambia nini inatakikana ikuwe hapo, nini inatakikana ikuwe hapo. In my view, your background of the study is too young, it's too small. So unajua hata hapo hainipatia hata ile hamu ya kusoma nijue ya kuwa at the end of the day how now your statement of the problem should develop out of what you have presented as background to your study. And that's basically what I mean, is basically needs work, because it fails to arrest me in terms of even the attention and discernment. And I think part of it is simply because even your background of the study is still needs a lot of work. Hawezi kuwa tu na half page useme hiyo ni uwe umetosheka kuwa hiyo ni background of the study. No, it cannot be, it must not be. Lazima tu ikuwe tu kitu tu ambayo you have worked. And saizi nimewaonyesha how to do it using Sci-Hub. So go read, understand. Ndio sasa hata mjue how to approach even this background of the study. Background of the study, normally what we say, we normally have what we call the funnel approach. You know what a funnel is. Funnel ni kitu inaanzia hapa juu kubwa. Na inaenda ina narrow. Such that by the time sasa unafika kwa statement of problem, at least it's just a small thing that actually logically leads to you to statement of the problem. Na ukisoma unasema yes. Okay? So whether you want to tackle it geographically, uanze na the global view, uende to regional, and then Kenya, right? And then maybe your study area, kama kuna material on that, that's also the way to go. Sometimes you might start with another concept, but you start from a broad view and then you narrow down up to now, where now it leads you to the nini prone. Na unaona funnel ni kitu inatusaidia kama sisi siku hizi tuna watu wa petroli, tunaihitaji sana, and even if you go to my car you'll find I have one, because huwezi jua petroli itakuishia saa ngapi. So it starts from a broad perspective hapa juu, and then by the time unafika kwa statement of the problem, it will have narrowed down to that statement of problem. So when I say needs work, that's basically what I mean, is that actually maybe it could be the case that also the way you have done your background information does not really allow somebody to really understand the context by which now your statement of problem becomes. Inakuwa ni kama hiyo shanga ambayo nimekuambia one pearl ndio, lakini kwa sababu hiyo string haijapita ndani yake, you cannot call it part of your jewelry at the end of the day. I don't know whether I have answered you to your satisfaction, Lauren.
Yeah, thank you. I understand now.
I want to hear the other people's voice. Yeah, it's been a dialogue between two people. Faith. Faith?
Yes.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Any question?
So far, I don't have any question, but I think
and
we'll
I'll
get
always
down
tell you
to
that
it.
I am threatened by that statement.
No, I'm not saying that I don't have a question totally. My opinion is that there are some, we had already started on rectifying the mistakes that we made on the spacing. Yeah, we did on the spacing. Then we were to have another meeting on the objective.
Which is today's, I believe.
No, yeah, I'm talking about us as a group.
Oh.
Yeah, we
just follow that roadmap ambayo nimewapatia. Objective 1, characterization.
Yeah, yes.
But I can give you the first 2 words. Lorraine, I'm that good. To characterize, blah, blah, blah. whatever you want to characterize hapo hivyo. Hii ingine mnaweza sema to determine the relationship between maybe kama your dependent variable is profits and selected variables in SMEs. Kitu kama hiyo. Something that will allow you to model. Me, what I want at the end of the day, I want to see some modeling. Because mbona mlifanya econometrics, mbona mkasumbuka hivyo na econometrics if you don't have that. So I believe you have the roadmap. Mkikaa chini na muielewe vizuri, there should be no problem at the end of the day.
Yes, I think tomorrow we'll have a meeting as a group. We get down to the objectives, then we'll send you.
Oh, sawa. Okay, Jen? Jen?
Yes.
How are you?
I'm good.
Any question?
I have any question? Everything is well understood.
Oh.
Thank you.
Hakuna ingine ambayo inakusumbua?
So far, Akona.
Oh. I'll still insist I'm threatened by that, but it is early days. I'll let it slide. Okay?
Okay.
Nelly, any question? Then you can call it a day.
I have a question. Can we relate demand to the performance of the SMEs?
What?
Demand of consumers.
Demand of?
Can we relate the demand of consumers with the performance of the SMEs?
Why does everybody want to do the demand theory today, this time? I'm a bit I'm a bit at sea as to why. Anyway, I can understand what you are saying, because actually you need a theory, and actually, Doreen, I don't know what theory you shall be using. You need to actually even make, and this is actually reading that will cure this. You have to read even the way I've shown you how to do it through Google Scholar. So that you can see what those people have read, what they are basing their theory on, and what if it is something that it is practical to you. So maybe, I guess, Jen, is it Nelly? Yeah. Oh, let me mute Jen because tumemalizana na yeye. Sasa hizi Nelly ndio wa kusema. You have muted yourself, Nelly, I think. Maybe just unmute so that we can continue the conversation. Demand and how do you want to see? How do you want to approach it?
Like how the performance of the SMEs is affecting the demand of consumers for goods and services.
By the way, and actually you need also to even think, maybe when you shall be brainstorming, we'll need to, anyway, but let me not restrict you to a certain good anyway, because SMEs can be gauged on maybe their size in terms of profit, but there must be a theory that actually is better than demand. That will inform SMEs. And so I mean, if in terms of market theory, right? Market, maybe what we normally used to teach in micro as market structures. So I will not say that is not possible, right? Because of course you will say, of course, if these SMEs have to make profits, they have to be make profits on the assumption that there is demand, and there is a satisfactory demand for the two. Lakini we don't also want at the same time kujichanganya at the end of the day, maybe having two theories and then getting confused in terms of what works, na maybe upeleke hii na hii, na mnajua kuna kitu inaitwa spurious variables. I don't know whether this was taught to you either at in Econ 233 or econometrics, but if it was not taught, there's always the danger of that, and there's always the need for you to gauge against that. So I would much rather you just settle on one theory. Come on, new determinants of demand, you want to go that way, reorient your work that way. Although with SMEs, I think the more practical one is one that is market-based, whether it's market structures, kitu kama hiyo, and then you continue. Lorraine, final word. Nelly, I think, has gone off, unfortunately. but you can give us a word.
I have nothing to say. I think we'll work on everything.
You are not being heard.
I'm saying
I'm hearing as if umejificha kwa wardrobe or something.
No, I don't.
Yes, now you are good.
okay, I'm saying I have nothing to add. We are just okay. We'll work on them, and we appreciate the fact that you've highlighted
You've
about
appreciated that my poverty has prevented me from going out on a Friday.
No. You've at least shed some light on how we should work on objectives. We appreciate.
Exactly, and I hope the roadmap is well understood.
Yeah,
I will not promise that I'll be available over the weekend, but anyway, kama kuna kitu ambayo is burning, you can engage me via the WhatsApp. And WhatsApp to me anywhere. I think the best is not to send me using your private nini. I would imagine that wakati there's a reason as to why we set up these ones for the group. Because ideally I just need to even be dumping even the link in the group na mnaipata hapo, kila mtu anaipata hapo independently na anaitumia. Wewe pengine kama Lorena as a group leader unaweza tu kuambia tu something like this is happening. I understand right now uchumi ni ngumu. Maybe most of you might not really be of a habit to just leave your data online 24/7. Lakini saa zingine maybe there's now where the governor or the leader comes in and says there's something that is this kama ni meeting imekuwa confirmed for this time. I like it that you people, you keep time. It's a thing that will stand you in good stead, not only in this engagement, but at least hata wakati mnatoka na mnaenda kutama na mnatafuta kazi. I'll assure you that nobody likes his time wasted, especially by people who are below him or her. And because you're starting from bottom most of the time, it's good to be humble enough to see that. So one of the things that you want to cultivate is that one of timekeeping. So work on it. If there's any burning issue, just engage me via the WhatsApp. Unaona hata niliwatumia nikidhani nyinyi ni Stomix, because I think when I saw Lorraine's number and I saw something, I had reason to believe that it is Susan or something. So I think it's Stomix. The only thing that can be cured by that is to adhere to those acronyms. Hizo acronyms unajua si vitu tuliweka tu kwa sababu ya raha. They guide me very much in terms of hata wakati ambao sasa tutakuwa tumekubaliana na kazi yenu, whenever I'll see LONEFA, I'll know, this is LONEFA, hapa ndio amefikia. So that actually even before even reading, I also know how to tackle your work, as opposed to Stomix, as opposed to, I don't know, the other one is calling themselves high, and any other group that I'm supervising. It makes my work a bit easier that way. So thank you very much. You guys have a nice weekend. I know you guys, you're preparing for exams. Yeah, but just read. Ni reading tu, unajua research. That is academia. It's just reading and more reading and making sense of that which we will have read. Hakunanga njia ingine. Na saizi at least I've taught you how to do it. I think things should be easier. That bit easier for you. So Lorraine, is just as simple as you demanding that everybody, Faith, mwambie, soma hata vitu viwili vitatu, tukujie na a certain report. What did you get out of that article? What Jen the same, Nelly the same. Wewe pia lazima ujipatie jukumu la kufanya hivyo. So that mkiwa wanne, I imagine that work that is done by 4 people should be easier than work that is done by only 1 person. So that, because if you read 2, even by the time that now you'll be converging, maybe on Monday or Tuesday, you already have read 8 or 10 articles, and you already have sussed out the most important parts or the most important bits of each and every article, right from the theory. Na saizi pengine saizi mnatakana msamu mnaangalia theory, mmesikia hiyo swali Nelly ameuliza, and I've thrown it back to you. You ideally don't want to convince yourself with too many theories. And the theories, si vitu ambazo mnaziweka for the sake of just putting them there. It's okay. More importantly, a case of where you want to put a theory because it works at the end of the day, and it actually grounds your work. Actually, the key word is grounding your work from the sense of view. And I repeat this, and I'll not choker to repeat it. Research, hakuna wakati hata mimi ninaweza toka ati this is economics hapa, na mimi ninaenda ati ninaanzisha, like me, I'm now doing my research on networks, na hii networks isikuwe na link to economics. This cannot happen. It must be that whatever I'm doing, there is a link, and all I'm doing is expanding the frontier of knowledge of economics here. Nikilete my work na nikisha report na nimepublish, now people will be like, oh, Mr. Nyanjongo, Dr. Nyanjongo, Professor Nyanjongo, whatever I'll be in the future, I may contribute this in this field. Okay, so even your work, it's the theory that grounds your work. But whatever you are doing, for us to call it an economic research, what will justify that is the theory. So Nelly has brought about the issue of demand. I'm not saying it's impossible, and we might just want to brainstorm this, or maybe market theory. Personally, I feel market theory serves you best, but there's a way in which you can reorient your work that also the demand theory, so will serve you best. So it's not for me to restrict you at this point in time. I think time is still early enough. You can brainstorm and decide which one works for you. So thank you very much. You guys have a nice weekend. Let me go get at least a cup of strong tea, as unless there's any last comment, Lauren. You're good?
Be good, thank you.
Okay, have a nice weekend.